Oh man, October came and went before I even knew it. Now we're into November. I got so many things planned, stuff to talk about, but I want to knock this out. I know everybody's probably doing one of these videos right now, but we're going to do everything that I picked up last month. And mine's a little late because I tried to watch everything. Now, there's a few things in here that I got for Christmas and stuff, so I haven't watched those yet. But I probably have watched them before. So there's only probably one movie in here that I've still just haven't seen. I tried, but I got distracted and so many other things just got in the way. So as we dive into this, this is last month's haul. We're going to start off with the 4Ks, and you know how we do it over here. I give you a mini review, my thoughts on everything that I picked up and I've watched. And so it's not a full in-depth review because so many of these titles have already been reviewed by everybody. So this one right here, the very first one of my all-time favorites. This probably makes top 10 of the entire year so far. So Nightmare on Elm Street. I got the big chunky box set from UK. Absolutely amazing 4K. I think the transfer on it's impeccable, and comparing it between the Blu-ray and the 4K, I think it was just absolutely top notch. There was one scene in particular in the very beginning. You can see some more detail on the sweater. I think the colors were just a little bit better on this. The 4K is phenomenal. Now the Blu-ray was always good. I always liked it. Never had a problem with it. But this right here is just top notch. If you have a 4K television, go ahead, pick up this Nightmare on Elm Street transfer because you're going to be very happy with it. The next one I picked up is another amazing 4K, and it was Death Becomes Her. This is just an excellent film. I picked this up because it's beloved in my house. I love this one, but I only had it on the VHS, so this was a huge upgrade for me. And it wasn't until I had this version I could compare it to the Blu-ray, and it's just a nice solid uptick from the Blu-ray, but from the VHS, the 4K is incredible. Adding it into the rotation, super excited. Now, this is a Scream Factory release, and a lot of the boutique labels let you switch out. If you get one cover for the slip, you can switch this out. This one, it didn't let you do that. Didn't let you do that at all. So, it's just kind of, I don't know. I get cutting corners. I get trying to save money. But when you're spending the money on a boutique Blu-ray, and you're getting a little bit extra. Now, I understand that Scream Factory, Shout Factory, they're definitely getting bigger the more money they get to put into other projects, so they got to cut corners somewhere, but it's something you become accustomed to, being able to switch out the cover or having a different choice. Now, a lot of times they sell a bunch of different things where you can get like multiple different slipcovers. It's just kind of disappointing that they didn't print anything on the other side, but not a big deal. I'll live with it perfectly fine. If I wanted to make my own custom cover, I totally can because I know how to do that. But other than that, just an overall excellent release, and the special features on this, not great, but not bad either. There were some TV spots on here that I just haven't seen since the 90s when this movie was new, and so that was really cool to have that on there. Director commentary was pretty cool too. Overall, just a great experience. The Dolby Vision on here added, just an enjoyable image, but it didn't really change it. Like, you didn't have giant color pops. I didn't feel that, while watching this movie, I didn't feel that the colors were just amped up or anything, which sometimes you can get on a Dolby Vision or an HDR. It just kind of amps everything up. So this one right here, just an enjoyable purchase. Addams Family Values. Now, this is something that I did the review on the channel, so you can check that video out after you finish watching this one. But something I really enjoyed. Overall, just an excellent pickup. I highly recommend this one. If you love Addams Family, you didn't pick the 4K up yet, definitely a high recommend, but just an overall excellent experience. I have this movie on multiple different copies. I've been watching it since I was a kid. My entire family's been involved in this one. But, watching this again with my youngest child for the first time on 4K was just an amazing experience. Really enjoyed this pickup. Now, Trick or Treat. This is something that everyone's talked about. There's a million reviews out there, so, you probably heard about this one to death. For me, excellent. Love this movie. I've loved it since the very first time I saw it. I found it early on, back when it was brand new, and it's something I've had in my collection ever since. Now, I actually double dipped on this years ago, and it was before I started collecting multiples of my all-time favorite films. Now, I'm not sure if this one makes my all-time favorite top 25. It's definitely high on my list. I'd have to actually figure it out if it sits on that. But I have the Shout Factory version, and that was a double dip upgrade because I had the regular one for the longest time. But I had gotten rid of it at the time, so I don't have the regular Blu-ray anymore. And I almost didn't get this one. I was like, ah, you know what? I'll just wait on it. But from what I hear, this is all sold out. It's not getting a reprint. And that's kind of rough. So I don't know what's going on with it. But if you can get your hands on this 4K, just an amazing picture. Absolutely love this one. And I did switch out the artwork on it because with the boutique Blu-ray label, I like it. I like the option to be able to switch it out, and so you have two different versions when you're looking at this. It just adds to the entire experience of owning a more expensive Blu-ray. But this is this 4K, but this 4K right here, absolutely amazing. Now everyone talks about how the colors are amazing and they pop and it's just so good. For me, it was the oranges. The oranges just screamed on my television. Best thing I ever saw. Really enjoy this one. High recommend. Now, this is something that I was putting off. I dragged my feet on it. I love the film. It's in my top 25, definitely in my top 5 fantasy films of all time, but it's got to be in my top 25. I'd have to double check, but since it makes my top 5 fantasy films, it's got to be in there, right? So this one is Stardust. Now, this is a steelbook. Now, I stopped collecting steelbooks in general because when I order them, most of the time they were coming damaged. It was just a very frustrating thing. I did an entire video of why I'm not collecting them anymore, but I also said I'm going to get my favorites. And this one right here, so I've limited it to my top 25 favorites, and this one I have to figure is in my top 25. And so is Stardust. It's a copy. It's a movie that I own. The Blu-ray, the HD DVD, this one. I'm trying to find the DVD of this. If they had a VHS, I would definitely grab that too. I'm not sure if they ever did have VHS of this because I know it came out a little bit later, but not too late. Just an amazing 4K on this. And I don't mind the steelbook. I like the art, but I was able to physically pick this up in the store. This was at Walmart. So I made sure I didn't get a damaged one. Now, the only thing about this that I griped about is this. So they double stacked the discs. And so I have to try to find some kind of replacement insert for this because the other version that was available through Amazon has different artwork. That one has the discs where one's here and one's here. So just to have to find it like a different interior to put this in because every single time I open it, no matter how I store it, that first disc pops off because these tines aren't big enough and it's double stacked, which I hate because you could potentially scratch your disc. So those are my gripes about it. But I like the artwork and I absolutely love this 4K. Amazing picture and just kind of blew me away. The next one here, definitely in my top 25. I'm collecting as many versions as I can. I don't know if I'm going to go overboard with some of my other ones where I'm collecting every version, but definitely a no-brainer. I have the Steelbook. I had some other things, and the Steelbook was a day one purchase for me. So this was finally on sale. I picked it up. I think it was like $11. And so we're talking about Howard the Duck. I actually still had the slipcover, and I get that people don't like this movie. I get that it gets some internet hate, but man, I don't get it. I really don't get it. I understand it does, but like I don't fathom the fact that it does. It's a movie I grew up with. I love it. It's one of my all-time favorites, and so this is definitely probably going to be one of the ones I'm trying to collect as many versions of because I have the DVD, I have the Blu-ray, I have the 4K on Steelbook, and now I have this 4K. Glad to add it to the collection, and I love that version. Love the cover art on there. The next one here is something, it was an upgrade. I haven't watched it yet. I popped it in to just double check and see if there was like a huge upgrade, but then I got super distracted. So it's a movie I saw before, but I haven't really been able to get time to enjoy the 4K and see if there's like a huge quality difference. But it's something that's been around for a while. It was finally on sale. I upgraded because it's a movie I really love, and it's The Town. And this one actually, the first one came and it was damaged. It didn't work. And that's probably why also, because like the day I was like set aside where I'm like, I'm really going to watch this, the disc just, it was not scratched, but it didn't work. It got to the menu, it played like 2 seconds, and then it just stopped. So then I traded in. I mean, I did the Amazon replacement. So they sent out this one, and this one did come with a slipcover, but it also came damaged. If you're a slipcover person, most of my Amazon orders now have all come with this like top corner damage. So I don't know, like whatever machinery they're using to pick these things and package them, almost every single one, that top right hand corner has kind of been smushed in. Very rarely has one come perfect. I think this one did. This one did come perfect, but all the rest, they almost all come with this damaged, banged up side. I'm not a huge slipcover guy, so it doesn't bother me on this one, because this, while it's great, it probably doesn't make my top 25. And so the slipcover is just going to go in the box. This is going to go on the shelf, and it's not going to stay in this room. It's one of those things that I don't get to watch that often, or I didn't used to get to watch that often because, it's a hard R. It's, not for kids. And, most of the time I got my 7-year-olds running around and paying attention to the wrong stuff. So this is a movie that, even though I love it, I hadn't really until this year been able to get to watch these types of movies regularly. I'd have to wait till she was out of the room or in bed, one of those things. So this is one I'm going to be diving into a lot more now because she can preoccupy herself. Now, this is something that I had to pick up. Like, other YouTubers have been talking about it. My friend Brian over at Last Movie Standing had mentioned this one. He was just talking about it. And I was like, you know what? It's not a blind spot for me. I saw the movie, but it was a blind spot in my collection. It's something I didn't have. And so glad to have this one. It was The Faculty. And as I upgraded it, they had announced that there was a 4K coming out. So I was just like, oh man, I just bought this. So I'm happy with the Blu-ray. I wasn't going to upgrade the 4K because I just bought this one, but it's a good movie. I really enjoy this one, and it's just a fun body snatcher type film. Really high recommend. This is a movie that I absolutely love, but I had the Blu-ray, and I think it was fine. I think the Blu-ray was perfectly fine, but then I went down this rabbit hole while I was trying to collect all of my copies of Leon the Professional. I came across the company Nova Media, this Korean boutique Blu-ray label, and I started collecting them because I just love them. I think they're just great packages and just nice. A little bit more expensive because you're shipping stuff from Korea. But then when I did that, this was a total upgrade, and it was literally just for the package and the design, and I absolutely love it. We're talking about Let Me In. This is the American remake of Let the Right One In. And so this is just a simple vampire story. Chloe Grace Moretz plays a vampire, and I really enjoy this one. I actually like the other one as well, but they're pretty much carbon copies of each other. They're almost the exact same thing. There's a lot of scenes that are exactly the same. Love this story though, but and I say exactly the same. The scene is set up, but things play out, a little differently. But other than that, it's pretty much the same movie. Really enjoy this, and the package on here was just top notch. So this is something, getting the slip box, which I love those. I love the slip boxes. They're thicker than a slip cover, and it's just something that's really enjoyable. So this one here in the package design, you got that, and that's on the back side. Really enjoy that, and there's your spine. But this right here, this was the Blu-ray, and I would have been fine with just this. Really enjoyed it, and now I have recently I've decided to take all my horror films and put them in these clear cases. This one came with one, but there's, and Vinegar Syndrome does them, and a few other companies have put horror films in the clear cases. And so it wasn't really my idea first, but I freaking love it. And so I ordered a whole bunch of these clear cases, and I'll be putting them in pretty much all my horror films. And if I run out, I have to get some more because it's something that I really enjoy, having the custom cases and covers and really having my collection reflect me and doesn't really look like everybody else's. So my horror movies are all going to have these clear cases. And so this was just a really bonus because with a boutique Blu-ray like this, I don't usually like to switch out the cases if I don't have to. And this is just a great one. And because it came that way already, absolutely love this. Oh, before I open it up, I'm talking nonsense. But it has some interior art, which I absolutely love. And the disc art on here is also really incredible. So it's nothing. Let me get an image on there. There we go. Just absolutely incredible. Maybe I'll take a picture and just shoot it up there for you guys. This is just really one of my favorite pickups. Now, here's something that I saw back when it first came out. This is something that I watched when I was on deployment, and it was a distracted watch. So it wasn't something that I was able to really sit down and get into. But I happened to be at the Walmart. It was there. It was on the shelf. I was like, I hadn't seen it forever. Got to pick this up. And then on the rewatch, I was like, I don't get all the hype. At first, when I found out that this was a true story, I was like, oh yeah, all in. Got to check it out. But then I found out it's not really a true story. So the director, the writer, the people involved in making this film, I remember being a kid and there were some burglaries that happened when they were kids, but there was no murders. And so he combined like this other murder story. I don't know if it was the Sharon Tate murder. I don't know what murders they were, but he combined those two things together to make this. And so at the beginning, it says it's based on a true story. This movie is not a true story, and that's kind of frustrating because I was super into it at that point. And so on the rewatch, also halfway through, I was like, I'm a little bored of this. That's when I found out. I Googled it, and I found out that there's a whole entire article how this movie is just a hodgepodge of stories kind of put together to give this, and so it's just not really a true story. And we're talking about The Strangers. Not a bad film. I kind of like the idea behind it, but I was bored on the rewatch. But the first time, it was kind of a distracted watch, and that's why I was kind of into it at that point, but I hadn't seen it in many years. So it wasn't a bad pickup for the price. And maybe I'll revisit this another time because I know like I was trying to cram this in during spooky season, trying to get all my other Halloween watches in and stuff that I love. And while I was trying to fit in some of the new stuff and being a little bored of this. So maybe I wasn't, in the right mindset for this type of movie. I'll give it another chance, but no time soon because the holidays are coming up. I got a whole stuff that I enjoyed watching. So those are my traditions that I have to get through, and I'm not going to try to cram this in there. But it's going to stay in my collection for now, and I'm going to try to rewatch it. But let me know in the comments down below what you think of this movie. But the fact that it's getting a sequel or got a sequel and the TV show and all that jazz, I don't get the hype. Now here's something. Now I haven't rewatched it. It's something I saw a long time ago, but it's not really a holiday movie, but it definitely has to do with snow. So there's a pickup in a couple months ago. I picked up the other one. So if you ever seen this is Ski Patrol, but if you ever seen Ski School, it's kind of the same thing. It's like a raunchy comedy with people doing the ski instructors at the slopes, and it's a whole ski movie. Really enjoy this one, but my memory on it is very fuzzy. I remember loving it when I was a kid, but it's something that like I haven't seen in so long. I don't remember everything. I just know that it's pretty inappropriate, and so it's one of the ones I got to watch like after my kid goes to bed, kind of thing. And I'll be, we also live down here in Virginia. It's hot as hell. We almost never get snow, and so it's also like hard for me to get into that spirit of the holidays and Christmas and all that stuff because I grew up in upstate New York. Always cold this time of year. It's always cold. But I heard that Halloween was kind of like 80 degrees up there, so that's kind of weird. But for whatever reason, being down here without a lot of snow, a lot of the fall weather just isn't the same as it used to be. So this is something that I'd like to dive into, but I'm probably going to hit it up like around December time, just because I'm already going to be into that mode of watching all the Christmas movies, and most of those Christmas movies have snow. So this is going to fit right in there. But I remember loving it as a kid, so I can't high recommend it, but I remember, the kid version of me knew I had to buy this because I dragged my feet on it for so long too, but this happened to be Amazon had a sale and I grabbed it. Now here's something that I saw like right around the time I first got out of boot camp, and it's just something I absolutely loved, but then it just kind of like faded in my memory because nobody was really talking about it. But then, I got a friend who loves raunchy comedies. He's always talking about them. And so trying to get more raunchy comedies in my collection, this was a no-brainer. This was another one that just happened to be on sale last month, and it's Sex Drive. Now, this is something that, if you've never seen it, you've got Seth Green in this one. There's just a, great group of people, but something that I remember there's an unrated version of this, and if you put in the unrated version, it's the menu. It starts out in just the most weird way possible. There's like a naked people, and the directors are talking to the camera as if like, I mean, maybe it's done on purpose, but it's definitely done for laughs. And they're talking to the camera as they're talking. It's almost like they've never been on camera before ever, and it's kind of it plays up to the whole entire bit. But then you have like a completely naked man, and you see full frontal nudity, but it's only from his waist down is where you get to see him, and it's a close up. And then this hot chick comes, and she's completely naked, and she's standing there. And then some of the actors in the movie show up as they're trying to tell you to watch the unrated version, but don't watch it first because they were never able to correctly add in those scenes because like the scene was so funny, but then like the camera crew cuts over and then they see the rest of the camera crew because they're laughing and whatever. So there's just an unfinished version, but the unrated does add a whole bunch of more raunchy stuff to it. The original version is really all you need to see. It's enjoyable. Love this one. and just a high recommend. So the kid, he tries to go on a date. He's meeting somebody online, and as he tries to go on the date, um, he steals his brother's car and he goes out there. But then the entire thing was, well, I don't want to spoil it for you. But I don't want to spoil it for you. But it's just an enjoyable thing. But it's another story where he's trying to go after this girl, but reality is his best friend is a girl and he kind of likes her and she kind of likes him, but they don't know it and they're kind of weird about it. But it just overall fun film. Now here's the one. Here's the one that I've tried to watch, but every time I try to watch it, my kid's like, "This is boring. This sucks," and just kind of makes a big deal about it. But the thing is, it's up her alley, and it was cheap enough. It's something that I never saw, but it's something that I would like to see, and obviously I bought it, so I'm trying to watch it. But every single time I try to get into it, she puts up a stink, and it puts it in one of these moods where it's just me and her. My wife's on deployment, and I'm like, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? Yell at her and tell her to go away while I watch the movie? No, and then we have some family time and we watch something else. So I will watch it eventually. Maybe I'll do it tonight. I'll send her to bed and just watch it then because it's something I would like to. And it's Crawl. Now this is one right here. From everything I understand, it's like Star Wars mixed with Camelot, and just kind of fun. I like movies like Ice Pirates and Spaceballs, and I like those. I'm not a huge like space guy, like the astronauts and all that jazz. But this one right here, that whole sci-fi fun, I'm in. So Crawl, something I haven't watched, but I've tried like 2 or 3 times already. So not bad. But this was also a really good sale. I think it was like between $9 and $11. So it was on the cheaper end. So it was a great pickup. Let me know in the comments down below if you've seen this one. But this one is high on my radar. And now that I have it, I'm going to try to watch it soon. Now here's something that I didn't pick it up right away because of the higher price. This company is out of business now. They've been out for a little while, but this was still brand new on Amazon. But at the 20 something dollar price range, or close to, I don't remember what it was, but after tax and everything, I think it might have been closer to the $30 price range. We're talking about The Babysitter with Alicia Silverstone. This comes out of Olive Films, which is completely defunct now. I have quite a few Olive Films movies in my collection, and there's some great hidden gems. There's some movies that other labels just weren't picking up at the time. And I think that if the YouTube influencer community with movies was the way it is now, before this one went out of business, I think that more, I don't think they would have went out of business, really. I think that these boutique labels, they get propped up by us, we talk about them, and then just brings that information to other people. Like, there's so many people that don't know that Olive Films was even a thing, and it's already gone. And there's a couple boutique Blu-ray labels like that. So this is one that, it's a label I found early on, and it was just kind of it was a gut punch when it went out. So this is something that it had been in my Amazon cart for probably a year, and I finally pulled the trigger because I like the movie. But if you've never seen it, Alicia Silverstone, she's a babysitter. She's babysitting the parents to the kid that she's babysitting. The dad's kind of creeping on her and wants to get at her. Her ex-boyfriend or boyfriend, they had a fight, and she doesn't want to see him, but he wants to come over. It's a good film. Check it out. Now, this is something I've already talked about it once this year, but I just picked it up. It's a great movie. Love this one, but it's out of print. The Blu-ray is out of print. The DVD is pretty much all you can get unless you want to pay those crazy high prices. So this is one I hope gets a 4K sometime soon. Blu-ray reprint would be excellent. But this DVD here, Dutch, great holiday film. Absolutely love it. Ed O'Neill's just top notch in this one, but just a great film. I think everybody should watch during November. But even though it's a Thanksgiving movie, there's snow on the ground. I could watch this probably all holiday season and still get the same enjoyment out of it. This is just a must for Thanksgiving. Now these ones, let's see. This one here, absolutely love it. I didn't have it in the collection, but I have, somehow I had always watched it. Like if we go to the in-laws, they have cable television, it's usually playing. So this is something I hadn't added to the collection because somehow every single year I was able to watch it, and it is a Christmas movie. So I was like, not going to watch it any time of the year other than Christmas season. And it's Family Man. So this is a Nicolas Cage film. If you've never seen it, it's one of those ones where it's like Groundhog Day. He wakes up, but it's like not really Groundhog Day. It's not, he doesn't repeat the day, but he wishes his life was different. So if you ever seen Mr. Destiny with Jim Belushi. It's the same thing. It's kind of the same thing where he wishes his life was different at some point, or he wishes like he changed something. And so he wakes up one morning. He's a super rich guy. He's, everybody loves him, but he doesn't have a family. He doesn't have anything. He's just got his entire lifestyle. But then uh, love of his life kind of chick, or somebody that just kind of slipped through his fingers. Wonders what his life would be like with her. So he wakes up one day, and that's what it is. He wakes up, his entire life has changed. He's with her, they got kids, he doesn't remember any of it. And so he's trying to figure it out, but he also wants to get back to his old life. It's just an excellent Christmas film, and I think one that flies under the radar for most people, especially being a Nicolas Cage one. Now here's something, it's another one that I never saw, but I remember when it came out, like I tried watching it, but then something better came along and I went and did that instead. But it was Serendipity, and this is something that, it's a Christmas film, it's a rom-com, it's definitely right up my alley, so I'm not sure why I really ever missed this one. Looking forward to diving in this Christmas season, because I love Kate Beckinsale. I mean, John Cusack's fine, but I love Kate Beckinsale. She's just gorgeous. And here was something, it was an upgrade. I had the VHS, and it's an older movie. So we're talking about the 1940s Christmas rom-com. And this is something that I enjoyed. And finding out there was a Blu-ray, I had to grab it. And we're talking about Christmas in Connecticut. Now, if you've never seen this one, she plays this like magazine article writer where she's writing about being an expert homemaker, and she tells this whole story of what she's, family and all the nine. So her boss kind of invites himself over to her place for dinner, and she never did any of that. She doesn't know how to cook, she doesn't know how to be a homemaker, so everything she writes about, and so it's just kind of putting herself in a place where she's kind of screwing herself over, but then at the same time she ends up falling in love. So it's got that whole rom-com type feel to it. Really just a fun Christmas one. If you like old black and white films, right up your alley, but high recommend for me. So I thought I had a lot more, scary movies in this pile, but now that I'm thinking about it, there was a whole bunch that I picked up from the thrift store that I added to the collection, but I have a whole thrift store video coming out soon, and I didn't want to like double talk about everything. But this was everything that I was able to pick up brand new that you could also pick up yourself, and that was why I talked about those ones. Let me know in the comments down below. Let me know if you're picking up any of these, if you have these, if these are some of your favorites. I want to give a shout out to all the channel members. Thank you for doing that. And you never have to be a channel member. There's just all kinds of ways to support the channel, and just giving this a thumbs up is a great way to do that. But if you ever want to do that, you can follow me on social media. All the links are always pinned down below. But if you want to join and you want to become a channel member, we have two different tiers right now. One that starts at $1 and one that starts at $5. That just helps support the channel, and all that just goes back into getting more movies to talk about and to give to you guys. There's a monthly giveaway for the channel members, and that just started last month. We already sent something out, and we're going to be doing a drawing very soon for the next item. We're going to be giving away 2 things this month, and as we roll into that, there's also a members only discount, so 10% discount off of everything in the store from now until the end of the holidays. And everybody has the opportunity to get free shipping if you spend over $150. That is also going on from now until the end of the holidays. You're going to want to check out this video right here. But with that, remember to watch a movie today, and I'll catch you guys next time.